It was a time of great sacrifice. America was embroiled in a long, bitter war overseas. Back home, farmers worked the fields from dawn till dusk, many of them still relying on horse-drawn implements and a depleted pool of farm labor. In the heartland, a young farmer stared at a grain wagon. All that time wasted shoveling corn out the back. He knew there must be a better way. This young man was a thinker, a builder. He had designed and built his first tractor cab at the age of 21. And in 1943, on his farm near Pella, Iowa, Gary Vermeer built a mechanical wagon hoist that eliminated a back-breaking job. Word spread about the invention, and requests poured in from farmers who wanted Gary to build them one. So along with his cousin Ralph Vermeer, Gary started Vermeer Manufacturing Company in a cinder block building on the western edge of Pella. The doors opened on November 22, 1948, and brother Harry Vermeer would join a few years later. Whether they realized it or not, Gary was in the early stages of creating what would become one of the largest and most respected family-owned corporations in the Midwest. Vermeer was now more than a name. It was a product. It was a time of great optimism. American industries prospered, and the spirit of innovation thrived in Pella, Iowa. Many of Gary's early ideas for product innovations came to him while working on his farm, usually as the result of looking for a better way of doing something. His first big commercial success, the PTO-powered hammer mill.
And a farmer came along there and said to me, "Boy, you got a good idea there, but you ought to put it on wheels." And so we went back, and a day or so later we had it on wheels. Just put some handle irons under it and so forth. And you know, I put a little ad in the Wallace's Farmer, and we had 1,000 inquiries in 1 week. And I had one man working for me.
Before long, this little company had 24 employees. The industrial business started to form as the original tiling trencher evolved into self-propelled, track-mounted power ditchers for underground utility distribution. As early as 1951, Vermeer had an agreement to export the new trenching machines overseas. Then, in 1957, an operator hit the wrong hydraulic control during a product testing session, and the Vermeer stump cutter was born.
There was a couple of farmers out here by the name of Lonnie and Harry Verplug, and they took an old thrashing machine cylinder, 24-inch thrashing machine cylinder, and then they hooked that on the back of a case tractor, and then they dropped that on top of the stump and they drive ahead. And boy, would that thing bounce and make a lot of noise. But I saw that work, and you know, they did get a stump out with it. We thought if we took that idea that they had and make a 3-inch wheel, that you could just pull that across the stump this way, that then that wouldn't bounce as bad and it might work. But the fellow that was running that thing made a mistake and hit the wrong lever and it went crossways. And we found out it cut about 5 times faster that way. And now that's the way we cut stumps.
It was a time of change, particularly in America's blossoming suburbs. Environmentally conscious consumers demanded cleaner, less invasive ways of stringing utility services across America's landscape. And Vermeer was ready with a complete line of rubber tire and track trenchers. Vermeer tree spades introduced instant shade, which reduced the drudgery of digging, moving, balling, and planting small trees and shrubs for nurseries. Meanwhile, the Vermeer Industrial Dealer Network continued to expand under the leadership of Gary and his brother Harry. Several enterprising employees changed hats, left Pella, and established Vermeer dealerships throughout the country. By the end of the decade, Vermeer had quadrupled in size. Baby boomers were coming of age and transforming America's workforce. And following an early morning walk with a friend, Gary Vermeer would transform the hay industry.
He says, "I'm tired of putting up hay." And I thought, if this fellow who ought to be in the cattle business is tired of putting up hay, there ought to be a better way to do it. So the next morning, I went to experimental department, and there was a fellow there by the name of Arnold Matheson. He and I did a lot of things together, and we started figuring out how it would be to make a bale that would weigh a ton. We had no idea how big it ought to be or anything, and so then we started building that, and then I went to 10 county seat towns in southern Iowa. You know, it's got all cow-calf operation. Anyhow, we start with that baler demonstration. And you know, I had made a lot of demonstrations with ditchers and stump cutters and all that kind of stuff. You get 10, 15 people and you think you do pretty good. They came out by the hundreds. Those cars would back up a mile on the road. And people would come in there and because, boy, they were ready for something better as far as haying was concerned. So we made those demonstrations, and the next day, you know, you'd see a lot of them same people there again. And then you'd say, well, how come you come again? We want to see if we work 2 days in a row, they said.
Almost overnight, Vermeer revolutionized the hay industry. The company doubled in size. Orders for big round balers stretched manufacturing production and capacity to the limits. More than 6,000 balers were sold in 1974 to 1975 alone. New product extensions included rakes and mowers. In just 9 years, 3 new plants were constructed, and by the end of the decade, there were more than 900 employees on board.
Really, the fact when the large round hay baler came along, it saved so much time and was so much more efficient that it was really an important invention.
The technical revolution takes off. By 1983, Vermeer International BV, located in the Netherlands, had become a wholly owned subsidiary of Vermeer, and by the end of the century would expand from its Spartan 2-story offices to support a rapidly growing international sales organization. Vermeer developed and refined new underground equipment and methods. In concert with improvements in fluid power transmission, a new line of hydrostatic trenchers was introduced. As jobs got tougher, trenchers got bigger. Vermeer also discovered another huge niche for the environmental product line. Brush chipper sales exploded, particularly with the introduction of the company's popular hydraulic feed system. In 1989, a new generation of Vermeer management took over. Gary's son Bob Vermeer and daughter Mary Andringa followed in his path, always in search of better ways to accelerate product development, streamline the manufacturing process, expand the Vermeer global presence, and recruit, train, and engage a rapidly growing workforce.
Our manufacturing, I think, has always been great, but in the last 20 years, with our emphasis on lean and continuous improvement, I do believe we've definitely taken it to higher levels, being able to make sure that we're always focused on quality, on a safe workplace for our employees, and also trying to be as productive as we can so that we can deliver from order to the customer in less time than we did earlier on in our manufacturing days.
Personal computers and the World Wide Web changed everything. As the dot-com era took off, Bob and Mary had Vermeer geared up to support the flood of fiber optic installations happening worldwide. It was a decade of skyrocketing sales and explosive growth. Navigator horizontal directional drills created new product lines, a wide range of accessories, and another huge business unit. In less than 10 years, Vermeer nearly tripled in size. Vermeer unveiled a wide range of new products. Environmental machines to help build the recycling reclamation industry. Bigger, wider, deeper trenching and rock cutting machines to meet the challenging conditions of contractors working on new infrastructures in remote areas of the world. And Rebel balers arrived to serve the needs of a totally new group of rural lifestyle customers. Together, Bob and Mary, at this point serving as co-CEOs, positioned Vermeer for success by bringing new faces to the board of directors and establishing a strong executive team to help lead the organization into new markets worldwide. In 2005, Jason Andringa, third-generation Vermeer family member and son of Mary Andringa, joined as environmental segment manager. He would later become president and CEO. Allison Vermeer van Weingarten, third-generation Vermeer family member and daughter of Bob Vermeer, joined in 2007 as industrial dealership distribution manager. And the following year, Mindy Vandenbosch, third-generation Vermeer family member and daughter of Mary Andringa, was named market assessment manager and has gone on to hold key management roles across both industrial and forage businesses. Vermeer entered the jumbo drill market and seized greater share of the burgeoning biomass market, broadening its product line and introducing the first terrain leveler surface excavation machine attachment for surface mining and a horizontal grinder for wood waste reclamation. Vermeer expanded its global footprint in China, in Singapore, and in Brazil, putting in place sales, marketing, equipment, and parts support to serve the needs of customers in the Asia-Pacific and Latin American markets. Then, in 2009, we said goodbye to the man who started it all. Founder Gary Vermeer passed away at 90 years of age, leaving behind a legacy of innovation, leadership, hard work, and a passion for finding better ways to get the job done.
The spirit definitely lives on because the name is on all the machines we build. Every machine that we build has his name on it. So of course his legacy lives on. And every time we sell a piece of Vermeer equipment and it's out there somewhere around the world and it has the name Vermeer on it, that's Gary Vermeer's legacy continuing on into the future.
As job sites get bigger, tougher, and move faster, opportunities for big innovation abound. In 2011, Vermeer unveiled the T1655 Commander 3 Terrain Leveler SEM, the largest machine ever manufactured in Iowa. The next year, 14 Terrain Leveler SEMs were sold for surface mining in Australia. This included an order for 7 T1655-3 Terrain Leveler SEMs, the single largest order in company history. Committed to nurturing a family-oriented culture and investing in future generations, in 2014 Vermeer opened its Yellow Iron Academy, an early learning center providing childcare and rich interactive curriculum. The 25,000 square foot Dutch-style barn contains multiple classrooms, an art studio, and science lab, among other amenities. In 2015, Jason Andringa assumed leadership of the company, continuing the principles and spirit of innovation and next-generation planning that have guided Vermeer for 7 decades.
My grandfather was a person that started with a strong sense of personal integrity, and I believe that principle is what has continued through 7 decades now of this business. This is a company with his name on it. The machines that go out the door have his name on it. And not only is it a company that's growing because of his ideas, but it's a company that's growing because of his values and his principles.
In a response to a shortage of drill operators in the horizontal directional drilling industry, Vermeer launched the HDD circuit training program in 2015, the first accredited certificate course of its kind. This intensive horizontal directional drill operator training program covers many aspects of drill operation. In 2017, Vermeer acquired the remaining interests of McLaughlin Group Incorporated, a leader in the drill tooling and vacuum excavation industry based in Greenville, South Carolina. This acquisition has helped establish Vermeer as a growing leader in industrial water and fluid management in the utility market. That same year, Vermeer, the company that revolutionized the hay industry with the one-man hay machine, introduced the ZR5, a first-of-its-kind self-propelled baler that can deliver unprecedented levels of operator comfort and maneuverability, offering farmers and ranchers a better way to make hay, just like Gary Vermeer always aimed to do.
I think for a lot of us, especially family members, the feeling we get is just a passion. and an excitement because it was my grandfather's passion. I mean, his joke was always that he was a farmer and on the side he had this manufacturing company. It's just the manufacturing company grew bigger. And so I think for all of us growing up, we knew his passion. Forge has always been something that is, I would say, an emotional asset of the family that it's been something that we've grown up with loving.
Vermeer continues to anticipate customer needs, to find better ways and work together to collectively design and build better equipment, and back it up with the training and support customers need in order to enhance job performance and ultimately improve their way of life. As Gary Vermeer said so many times before, find a need, fill that need with a product built to last, and simply build the best.
We have built this organization from a one-man shop with my grandfather and the first person that he hired to help him build mechanical wagon hoists. We've now built up into an organization of more than 3,000 people with that guiding principle of treating other people like you would want to be treated yourself. And it's the culture that we want to continue to perpetuate every time we bring in a new person. Ultimately, it's a commitment that in every interaction that we have among ourselves, among our suppliers, dealers, customers, that we are striving to make a real personal impact.
This is what we do at Vermeer, and this is where it happens. On the drawing board, on the floor, in the field, at the job sites, every day across the country and around the world. Vermeer is there, a team of dedicated workers, dealers, and customers, designing, building, supporting, and using some of the most innovative equipment in the world. Equipped to do a better job, to build a better life, and a better future together. With this team we call Vermeer.